Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to talk about a subject that has come up a couple of times in my coaching in the last week, and I coined a term for it. It's called sales reluctance. Sales reluctance. It's only a problem if you're in sales, right? You got to go make a living selling stuff. And it comes in a bunch of flavors. I'm just going to talk about two. One, I work with this financial planner. He's a great guy. I really like him. He's been in the business 3-4 years. This is his second career. He really believes in it and sees the power of financial planning and has great tools to help. And, he came to me and said, just business isn't growing fast enough. Right? It's typical. Right? I'm out here. I know what I'm doing, but business isn't growing fast enough. And I said, okay, well, let's talk about your process. What does that look like? And he said, well, I've been in business a long time. I know a lot of other business owners. I know how I can help them. And I said, okay. And so what do you do? He goes, well, I've got, a list of, 200 or 300 people. And I said, okay. I said, so you call them. He said, well, I might email them first. I'm like, okay. And I said, and then what? He goes, well, now I'll call them to follow up. And I said, okay. And what's your step after that? He goes, well, invite them to lunch and, we'll talk about stuff. And I like, so you talk business at lunch? And he said, well, no, really, we just kind of get to know each other again, spend a little bit of time. And then I'll reach back out to them a week or two later and, try and see if they'll want to, talk about what I do a little bit. And I said, so, okay, what's wrong? He said, it's really awkward when I call back. And it sucks. It's taking too long. And I'm not getting the results I'm looking for. I'm like, okay, so why are you doing it that way? I asked. He said, well, it's just, I don't want to be too salesy. I just want to kind of come across as, I just want to have a conversation. I'm like, okay, well, let's slow down a little bit. First of all, we talked about this. He said, I just want to make sure these people are comfortable with me first. That's why I invite them to lunch. And I said, well, here's what it sounds like to me. I said, sounds like to me like you're trying to make friends with them again, or really create a friendship bond. And then, if you feel like it, and if the chemistry is just right, then you may invite them back for a meeting, about what you do. But then it's really awkward because maybe they're not enthused about it. And I said, and you probably take it personally. He said, holy shit, that's exactly right. And I said, so here's what I want you to do. Forget the lunch part. Don't do that. It takes too damn long. You're adding an extra long step in your process. And then you've got to start over and call them again for some other reason later on. I said, screw that. I said, let's be more direct. Let's talk to people on the phone. Get the, hey, how you doing? How's your mama over on the damn phone, right? Pick up the phone, call them, have a quick conversation, right? You can check in there, but when you call, say, hey, I'd love to have a conversation, catch up. And then I'd love to have a business conversation, tell you what I'm doing now. And let's figure out whether or not we ought to have a meeting where they'll get together and talk about that. Would that be okay? And he goes, I could do that. And I said, you're damn right you could do that. I said, you're a business guy. You need to have business conversations with people instead of focusing on friendship, which is fine. But my guess is, Mike, you got enough friends. What you need are people that you can have a healthy business relationship with. Maybe you had a relationship with them in the past in your old business, but now they're going to see you in a different light. You've got to create that new business bond. And I said, that comes from talking about business, asking about their business, asking about their situation, finding out their opinions about their current situation, financially and otherwise. Then you can ask questions, you can share third-party stories about what you're doing for other people, and ask if they'd like to have a conversation like that with you about their situation. Nothing wrong with that. You can do this in a phone conversation and see if there's some kind of problem, some kind of issue, something they're worried about. If there is, then you can offer to get together with them, their office, your office, whatever, and see if there's pain. and see if there's a willingness to change, right? Would they do something to fix it, right? The first question you got to ask. And then the second question you gotta know the answer to is, who would they do that with? So be more direct. Don't worry about having lunch with people, be with friends, all that kind of stuff. Take your current clients to lunch. Take the people who are already giving you money. Take those people to play golf. Take those people to lunch. Tell them how much you appreciate their business. Make sure you understand what's going on in their lives. Then they can refer you to other people. Don't waste lunch and golf on prospects. Somebody else invites you to come along, great. But you don't need to entertain prospects. Spend your money and your time on those people who are already paying you money and have business conversations with those people who aren't. Some will buy, some won't. So what? Who's next? The second flavor of this was a guy who's newer to the business. He's newer to a business. He sells equipment. And he says, I can get along great with the guys in the warehouse. He calls them industrial clients. Get along great with them. But he said, I get kind of nervous when I'm calling the owners of the business. He said, I can talk to the warehouse guys. They tell me all these problems, but then my tongue gets all jumbled up when I start talking to the owner of the business. It's okay. Give me an example. And he told me that he got back in this warehouse the other day. These two folks were back there. He sells, racking and doors and forklifts and all that kind of stuff. And he says, I can talk to those guys. They're like me. But he said, they tell me that only the owner can make these decisions, which he said is normal. But he said, I'll send an email. And I asked him to share the email. It was all very formal and very stiff. And I was like, okay, well, why the hell are you doing that? I said, do you have his phone number? He goes, yeah, but, I don't want to just call somebody right out of the gate. They don't know who the hell I am. I was like, oh, it is your job to interrupt busy people. That is what sales is. You are supposed to be interrupting busy people. I said, that owner has got those problems that people at the warehouse discovered. Maybe he knows it, maybe he doesn't. I said, I want you to picture that owner scratching his head, sitting in his office going, shit, I got these problems in my warehouse and I don't know who to trust. I don't know what the hell to do. I said, then his phone rings and it's you. And I said, there is somebody right now in your territory that's doing exactly that. Some owner, somebody who's running a business, somebody with P&L responsibility who doesn't know what to do. And you're the person that can help them. I said, that's the guy I want you to picture that you're calling. Not everybody's going to answer the phone. Maybe you leave a short voice message, right? To get a call back. Don't leave these long ass voice messages. Don't tell them everything. Just enough to get a call back. Don't be afraid of the owner. They're exactly like you. What I told my client was, remember, you're the owner of your own business. Even though you're getting a W-2, you're getting paid by another company, you still are the president, the CEO of you. So remember, you are the same as every other decision maker out there. Act like it. You deserve to be having this conversation. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Know somebody who's struggling with this? Got a sales team that's struggling with this? Let's have a conversation. 803-917-2817. Thanks. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.